boys and girls, Mrs. Blackburn here with a Fountas and Pinnell book. This one's called Esquivel, Space Age Sound Artist. It's a biography, and it was written by Susan Wood and illustrated by Duncan Tenacia. What do you think a space age sound artist might be? It's kind of interesting. Here's the title page. Why do you think it shows a vinyl record? Let's read Esquivel and see if you are right. When Juan Garcia Esquivel was a small boy, he lived with his family in Tampico, Mexico, where whirling mariachi bands let out joyful yells as they stamped and strummed. By age 6, Juan was curious about music. There was a piano at Juan's house, but it was a player piano. A paper roll told it which keys to play. Clever Juan had an idea. He disabled the paper roll and turned his parents' jangly piano into one he could practice on. He played it day and night. By age 10, Juan was captivated by music. He loved to play piano, anytime, anywhere. Sometimes he'd disappear from home in search of an audience, and his family would have to go looking for him. They always found him in front of a piano. Rin-tin-tin-tin. When Juan's family moved to Mexico City, the country's bustling capital, Juan found work playing piano at Mexico's first 24-hour radio station. He performed for 15 minutes each day and was paid 2 pesos a show, enough to buy a sandwich and a taxi ride home. He was just 14 years old. Juan started learning all he could on his own. No music teachers, lessons, or schools. Without traditional training in how musical notes went together, Juan focused instead on how sounds could be arranged. Finally, Juan felt ready to create his own music. So, when at 17, he was offered the job of orchestra leader for a popular comedy show at the radio station. Juan gladly took it. What kind of sounds is Juan interested in? And how do you know? Look at this. Wish, click, clink. See the words on the pages? When the radio comedian needed music for a skit about, say, a stout man walking his tiny poodle down a busy city street, Juan had to imagine what that might sound like. Juan might ask the kettle drums to boom, 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 like a lumbering giant. He might ask the clarinets and oboes to yip and yap, like a dainty dog. He might tell the trumpets and trombones to honk, blap, bleep, like blaring car horns. Juan tested and mixed and blended and arranged all sorts of sounds to match the imaginary situation. He was an artist using dips and dabs of color to create a vivid landscape. But instead of paint, Juan used sound. Weird and wild sounds. Strange and exciting sounds. Juan started experimenting with popular Mexican tunes. He tinkered with tempos, slowing songs down, then revving them up. He fiddled with dynamics, swapping soothing soft sounds and startling loud sounds. He twisted chords and combined instruments to sound thrilling, dreamy, and often funny, because Juan liked music that made people laugh. But underneath the humor, it took great musical skill to play Juan's challenging new music. This page describes in detail Juan's method of arranging popular songs in a new way. Why do you think that the author included this information? How he arranged the music in a new way. Why do you think that the author put this detail in there? Think that was an important one? Nobody had ever heard music like Juan's. Soon he was winning awards. His songs were turned into records that people could buy in stores. Juan's innovative music could be heard on radios and record players all across Mexico. An important record company in the United States heard about Juan and his unusual music. Would he come make records in America? Yes, yes, yes! See. Juan packed 2 suits. He bought a big red convertible sports car with a white top. Then he drove all the way to New York City. Think he was excited? I sure would have been. Baroom. There, Juan found a music shop the size of a department store with 3 entire floors full of strange and exotic instruments. He saw boobams, bamboo tubes that could play a tune, bumpa, booda, dooba, boom, a spooky sounding electrical instrument called a theremin, a buzimba, a kazoo sounding contraption played with a mallet, an odolin, an organ with a swaying keyboard, and even a giant gong. So many odd new sounds to play with. Juan was in heaven. Did you make a connection? Maybe you have played some of those, or maybe you've heard or seen some of those instruments. The late 1950s and early 1960s was a great time to be recording music. Scientists had discovered a new process called stereophonics, or stereo for short. It separated sounds, so when you listened to a recording, music could seem to come from the left side, the right side, or both sides at once. For sound artist Juan, stereo was yet another exciting color for his musical palette. To make a good stereo recording, instruments needed to be kept apart while they were recorded. That way, the brap of the horns wouldn't get mixed into with the weedy wee of the flutes. Most conductors used curtains, screens, or special booths to separate the instruments. That wasn't enough for Juan. Once he put half his orchestra in one recording studio and the other half. Why might the author call Juan a sound artist instead of a musician or a composer? What kind of poetic comparison is the author making by describing stereo as another exciting color for his musical palette? That's a comparison. What are we comparing? two different things that are very different, but you compare them. What is that called? It's figurative language, but what kind? He's describing stereo as another exciting color for his musical palette. Did we use like or as? Don't know. What do you think? In another recording studio on the other side of the building, so far it felt like they were an entire city block away. The musicians wore earphones so they could hear what they were playing, and so that everyone could see him. Juan conducted on closed-circuit television only the musicians could view. Juan had one more sonic trick up his sleeve. He brought in singers. But the singers didn't sing words. They sang sounds. They'd sing zoo, 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 and do, and pow. Pa, ba, 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 woo, 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 woo. On Juan's quirky versions of popular songs, he'd replace the lyrics everyone knew with the singer's fun, flashy sounds. Are you imagining what that would sound like? Can you hear it in your head? Have you heard sounds or music like that before? People loved Juan's colorful music. It took them to other worlds, other planets. It sounded like a crazy rocket ride zigzagging through outer space. Kind of sounds like the title, doesn't it? When Juan wasn't making his unique music, he enjoyed many things. He liked beautiful art, fancy cars, and elegant clothes. He especially liked pretty women. But Juan loved music most. The description, space-age sound artist, now makes more sense, doesn't it? And in case you didn't know, rockets were first launched about the same time that this was happening. I think maybe that may have influenced him a little bit in the sounds that he was creating. Juan made many records and played hundreds of concerts with his orchestra. In Las Vegas, Juan and his musicians performed at the Stardust Hotel for 14 years in a row. Fans from near and far, including famous singers, actors, and actresses, would come to hear his out-of-this-world sounds. Juan also made music for dozens of movies and television programs, even a TV show especially for children. Clap, 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 clap. Now, Juan wasn't called Juan anymore. He'd explored sonic frontiers, expanded musical possibilities, and enhanced the way people think about, listen to, and enjoy music. Now Juan was the space-age sound artist known simply as Esquivel, with an exclamation point. Esquivel. It's kind of fun to say. What do you think of the ending? Is there anything else more you want to know about Esquivel? Well, that's the end of the story. Juan didn't have any formal music training at all, yet he became really successful. How did he do this? And what message do you think that the author's trying to give you because of that? Do you think maybe that if you have a passion for something and you really, really work hard that you can pursue your dreams and become anything that you want to be? Could that be possibly a message that they're trying to send? Could be. Okay? You may have heard of the phrase, think outside the box. What do you think that means in regards to Esquivel's music? Think outside the box. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this story. I know I did. The illustrations were fun. If you have a chance to buy or purchase this book, the texture of the pages are thick and it just was really enjoyable. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.